Welcome back, folks. It's, of course, Sport Federation TV. If you have just joined us, you are looking at the show that talks about sport in the province and the various federations. It's a little bit echoey with us today, or at least noisy. The rain is coming down quite hard, so we hope that you'll have a bit of patience with us during our next interview. We now speak to Denis Cochrane from Western Cape Sailing. Dennis, welcome to Sport Federation TV. Nice to have you online.
Nice to be online with you guys.
Denis, you're, of course, Commodore at the Tevart Club Sailing Club. How long have you been at Tevart Club?
I've been a member about 20 odd years. Been Commodore the last while. It's time to do my bit. You sort of hang around in the background, and it's time to step up and get involved. Post-COVID, things were a bit quiet, so we started getting things going. We've had quite a successful season. We had Western Cape Dengue Championships over Easter weekend, 90 odd competitors there, and we've just had the Stud 23 Nationals.
So, Denis, before let's just go back quickly one step, maybe just for the viewers. Okay. When you say Commodore, in the world of sailing, I mean, how does that work? When we talk about other sports, you have directors of coaching, or you have chairpersons and presidents. What does a Commodore do at sailing?
Normally a club has a Commodore who's in charge of the club. Now, Tevart is slightly different. We've got a board of directors, and a traditional yacht club would have a Commodore with a vice Commodore and a structure like that in place to handle day-to-day runnings of the club. Tevart has a few years back decided it's not a good model, so we rather went for a board of directors. So you've got a chairman, board of directors. One of the positions on is the Commodore in charge of water sport. So I'm Commodore in charge of water sport, trying to all sort of water sport stuff at the club, trying to get things going, youth sailing, all that sort of stuff. So
that's a naval term.
Yeah, it's very much a naval term.
Yeah.
Water sport. So we try and cover all the water sports. So
yes,
we're getting involved. Yes.
So when you talk about all the water sports, I mean, we've also interviewed remote controlled sailing, and we've spoken about some of the other classes. What are the different sailing activities at Tevart Club?
Okay, so we've got the keelboat sailing. So those are the bigger boats, not as big as what you've got at the coast. So it's predominantly the Stud 23 at Tevart. It's a 23-foot keelboat, one design class, and then dinghy sailing. We've got the extras, we've got the mirrors, lasers, those sort of things.
Right.
That's predominantly what the club's about. It's a sports club, so we cover fishing, angling, anything that's happened to do in the water. So
So when it comes to sailing, of course, there's lots of different. When it comes to sailing, you've got a lot of different categories there. One of the categories is, of course, dinghy sailing. You had the Western Cape Dinghy Sailing Championships recently. How did that go?
It was a very successful event. We had 90 competitors on the water. So some of them double-handed. We had a lot of lasers. We had a lot of the oppies, the small kids sailing, 505s. So it was a very successful, very good weekend. I mean, sailing post-COVID was sort of dead, and this is like really kicked in. I mean, we were surprised at the amount of people that came to the event, and we were trying to grow on that. So the next step is to try and build the classes, get young back involved in the sport. It's a cycle. We're in a downward spiral, so we're trying to turn it around, get youngsters involved again.
Now tell us a little bit about the other event that you had now, the Stud 23.
Okay, so the Stud 23 is predominantly one design class, so all the boats are exactly the same. We alternate between the Vaal and Cape bi-yearly for the nationals. So this was the national event for the national championship. So we had 12 boats. Unfortunately, none of the Vaal boats made it down for the event. We're working on that. Also, it's financial side involved in it. So we had 12 boats at the event, all from the Western Cape. All the boats are based at Tevart, but we had teams from Hout Bay taking part, Royal Cape. So it was a very successful event. Over 4 days, we managed to get 10 races in. Very, very competitive sailing. Came down to the last day. Nobody knew who was going to win till basically the last day. So it was
So
very, very tight.
how does the actual competition itself work, Dennis? Do they sail in a route, or is it point to point, or around buoys? How does the sailing aspect?
Around buoys, we basically, with the stats, we did a windward-leeward course. So it's 2 buoys. You sail upwind the first leg, and you come downwind. You do basically 2 to 3 laps of that. With the start line was, for this course, was set in the middle of the course. So yeah, you sail upwind, downward with the spinnakers up, all colourful sails. And then, yeah, it's a copy and a repeat. So we basically sail 3 races the first day. So you race 1, race 2, race 3.
Yeah.
Ran out of wind. Then the second day we had 5 races. So it was five back-to-back races. So you race, finish, wait for everybody to finish, and we start over again.
How do you
Yeah.
get good at it, Dennis? How do you get good at winning these races? I mean, is it a lot of practice? Do you have to go to the gym? Do you have to eat special food?
Yeah, well, yeah, probably all of the above, but also, yeah, we're doing it more for pleasure than, we're not the
Yeah.
competitive guys out there. But yes, it's time on the water. It's time on the water, a lot of coaching. We tend to, after the races, everybody chats, and you pick up, you learn your mistakes, but it's basically time on the water.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. The more you practice, the better you get at it.
And for these athletes now that have come out on top, where do they go to next? Have they got a national championships to go to, or world championships, or do they go back home and carry on training? What's their next big event that they prepare for?
You see, that's the thing. I mean, like with us, with the nationals is sort of the pinnacle of the sport. But
Right.
yeah, guys, the youngsters start moving on to other stuff. I mean, we've got the TP52s that South Africa is getting involved in overseas. So guys, some of the sailors are making it through to things like that. Yeah, there are of the kids that are looking at, have got dreams of doing Olympics and things like that. So
Right.
yeah, especially on the dinghy side, we've got a few there's talent there. So yeah, obviously um, that's the path. It's a very lonely path, like any other sport. It's like
Yeah.
running, and that's you yourself.
Yeah.
So the idea is to try and grow the sport in the country a little bit more. Yeah, get
Yeah.
more. I think people think sailing is a elite sport. It's not. It isn't, and that's our main mission at the moment at Tevart, is to try and involve people and let them understand that it's not an elite sport. It's something you can get
Yes.
involved in.
If I do want to get involved, if I, for example, want to become a dinghy sailor, or one of the sub 23 sailors, how do I get involved? How do I sign up for sailing in the Western Cape? Do I just visit a club, or go to your Facebook page?
Yes. Yeah, I would suggest, I think I'm going to pun our club here.
Yes.
I suggest you come down to Tevart. We've got a sailing academy there. Neil Ashton is a very good sailing instructor. Go through the course, you join the club, you get involved, you come hang out down there, and you get yourself onto a boat. Sooner or later you figure out, okay, I'm going to buy a boat. This is for me. A lot of people, I always say some people have a dream and then it's not for them. But
Yeah.
I reckon come down to the club, do a few sailing courses, see if it's something you like doing,
Yeah.
get involved, and it'll go from there. So yeah, go find your club, and then just Tevart
And
has been my home for 20 odd years. So I mean,
Dennis, we'll
trained
leave it
much.
at that. It's been fantastic chatting with you. Well done on hosting these fantastic events. It really does bode well for Western Cape sailing, and we of course hope that a lot of people are watching right now and will start becoming sailors.
Yes, perfect.
Thanks, Dennis. There we go, folks. Denis Cochrane, he is, of course, the Commodore at the Tevart Club Yacht Club. They recently had the Western Cape Dinghy Sailing Championships and the National Stud 23 Championships also there. And, of course, Western Cape Sailing themselves doing fantastic. And as Dennis said, just, probably the easiest way is do a search for Western Cape Sailing on Facebook and give them a call and sign up, and somebody will be there to help you, find your feet on the water, so to speak. Folks, we'll take an ad break. When we come back, we'll carry on talking sport in the province. Back in a sec. Do not go away.